Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I started out the program earlier this week with a reference to our quote from Albert Einstein in the program. I want to expand on that a little bit more now. The bottom line is, my truth is better than yours. Think about it. Or eating our young. Far too many people involved within the phenomena today are attacking others in the phenomena with little thought to the consequence of their action. And the internet now allows attacks to proceed almost effortlessly, with little chance of meaningful consequences if it turns out that the attacker is wrong. Attacked people can also end up spending almost a full-time job just defending themselves over and over and over and over. Perhaps is this one of the goals of the attackers? The Congress recognizes that, especially in controversial cases, we cannot always determine beyond reasonable doubt the veracity of every story and every person. Therefore, because a given program is on the schedule, it is not a blanket endorsement of that presentation's truthfulness. When we bring a controversial speaker to the Congress, it is to let you, the delegates, hear the story so you can then decide for yourselves. We are sure that, as always in time, our delegates will always get to the truth of every story. That being said, we ask you to reflect a moment on the Bob Lazar story. You remember that one? Quote, "What a whopper," said many a reporter and, quote, expert from our ranks. Quote, "We know he never worked at Los Alamos. We know he never studied physics at that university. Ergo, we know he is lying about this Area 51 nonsense, too." Well, folks, the absence of records only proves that what you are talking about is important enough to cause the black budget boys to expunge records. In Lazar's case, exactly when Los Alamos spokesmen were saying, quote, "Never heard of him," and, quote, "He never worked here," Lazar was continuing to work there daily as needed under private contract. Fact, folks. Many men of goodwill have paid for telling their truths with jobs, reputations, families, and sometimes even lives. Let's not help throw out any babies with the bathwater, or to facilitate the downfall of anyone based on absence of evidence, simple misspeaking, third-party quotes, or taking statements out of context. Let's allow a controversial story to be heard and provide a respectful forum where critics may be answered. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Pam. We will have Jonathan shortly, and we have Robert. Pam is the publisher of Robert's book, Link. Yeah, it deserves a hand. It takes some guts to publish a book like this. It really does. And of course, Robert is Jonathan's co-author. And we're now going to turn the program over to them. And get ready. Hold on to your hats.
I feel a little more comfortable standing up here in front of all of our new friends. Can you see me? Or do I have to stand over here? Behind? Okay. Okay. We want to thank all of you for being here this afternoon. It's really important to all of us. And as I look out over the audience, I've met many of you in the exhibit room and so forth. But I'm honored to be here, to be part of this incredible journey that Jonathan has gone through, to share with you the experience that he has. It's been a very emotional event. The storyline that brings us up to where we are today, all of the things that have happened to him have been truly traumatic. from the time that it ripped across the airwaves on the Art Bell Coast to Coast AM show, and thank you, Mr. Art Bell, for helping us to release this information, give us the opportunity to talk about it. It has exposed 20 million listeners all over the world. So now they also have the opportunity to hear the story and what happened to Dr. Reed. You will see today, this afternoon, the photographic evidence. You will experience the emotionally driven video. You'll hear what Jonathan went through during this time. You'll also hear firsthand from Dr. Reed as well as Robert Rafe. In all of this incredible journey, in all of the things that have happened, it's still an ongoing ordeal. Jonathan is going to talk today about when he was shot as a result of talking about this ordeal in San Diego. March 14th, 1999, last year, was when I first met him, and 4 days after having publicly told this story, he was shot. I became extremely involved after having met them in San Diego, experiencing firsthand, sitting there, feeling what he felt, going through what they did, and then 4 or 5 days later, he was shot. 2 weeks later, I went to Vancouver, Canada, to meet him and see firsthand the shunt that was in his shoulder, the drainage from the wound. And he allowed me at that time to read the manuscript. And once I read that manuscript, I knew this was something that all of you needed to know about. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to help them to publish this so that they can share, or you can share with him and with all of us what's actually taken place. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Robert Rafe. He's the gentleman who basically came forward on the Art Bell show in November of 1998 and began this incredible story, and he's graciously offered to be here tonight to share with us. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Robert Rafe.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for having us. We're extremely honored to be here with you. What I realized coming here some time ago, 4 or 5 years ago, if anybody had told me that I'd be defending or working with anyone like Jonathan, I'd say that they were completely crazy, they're insane, that I'd be up in front of people talking about something like this. No way. The people that go to these things are, you know, they wear Vulcan ears and, you know, they glow in the dark when they come out of the building, okay? I'm wrong, okay? It's quite the opposite, actually. There are an incredible amount of well-educated, wonderful human beings here, and I'm very proud and honored to be here among you. Let me just start here. Thank you for inviting us. We are honored to be here tonight to share with you this amazing event, an event that began October 15th of 1996 and continues to this day as an ongoing ordeal. And believe me, folks, it's an ongoing ordeal. Tonight you are about to experience the emotional events that have set the world UFO community on fire. The events regarding Dr. Jonathan Reed and his incredible extraterrestrial encounter. I was first introduced to Jonathan's case when he approached me about helping him document the alien encounter he had with his dog, which took place about 1 year earlier in the Pacific Northwest mountains of Washington State. I must say that at first I was apprehensive about being a part of anything involving aliens, UFOs, and anything in between. It had never been a fundamental interest of mine. However, all that has changed, as you can tell. After spending many hours listening to Jonathan tell of his fascinating account and seeing for myself the incredible photographic evidence, and now also being a part of this ongoing odyssey, I can say with all certainty, I now believe without a doubt, and I have seen the facts that prove we are not alone in the universe. Excuse me. It's nice to know we're not alone. Over the last 2 years, Dr. Reed and I, together, have chronicled one of the most intriguing